any left for us? Well, he took all of them.
I guess we could claim some, right?
Yeah, sure, you guys could claim some if you want to take, like, food and supplies that you might want to give to the people of Foothold.
I was more thinking, like, things that might be valuable to adventurers.
Yep.
The demons did not have any magic items on them. No potions, no oils, no runes. If they did, those were most likely used during the battle. Basically, what they've claimed is, like, food, and, like, there's, like, some gold, and there's, like, lots of alcohol that they're bringing along.
Alcohol.
Yes.
Well, enjoy alcohol, dwarves. Demon alcohol.
They're not like burdening your supply train. They're not really noticeably slowing you down. They're taking care of all that themselves. They are highly trained and incredibly professional.
Oh, that's good.
I guess we could claim some of the money, maybe.
You guys could have some money if you want, instead of giving it to the people of the refugees in Foothold. I can give you some coins.
We give all the food to them.
Sure, I can.
Yeah, we are beginning to scratch the bottom here of.
I know, but I'm just being like Manaki and being an asshole whenever I'm like. Each of you would get paid 225 gold pieces.
Bring me to 350.
Basically, like, dividing all of the money amongst yourselves. You know, thousands of peasants don't exactly have a whole lot of money, but if you pile every single silver together...
They're peasants, they never have money.
It's true. And the demons weren't exactly attacking profitable communities.
We should have hired them in secret, sent them somewhere where there's pickings, and then killed them.
Aurelia, that's not really how it works. The Crusader guy's like, yeah.
No.
That's right.
No.
Make demons steal from the poor and then kill them.
I don't think it's for hiring demons.
Well, if it's to make them steal things and then kill them afterwards, maybe.
You're completely justified in keeping the funds then, right?
Well, let's just do this.
Yes, so we can go ahead and skip ahead. We can cover the travel if you'd like, if there's any roleplay that you folks would want to do as you're traveling to Glitterhagen and arriving at Glitterhagen, and the Red Gauntlet Company pretty much like puts all of their gains back in the keep and then keeps going with you.
Can I buy some healing potions?
Sure, you can take the time in the City of Coins to purchase things. City of Coins is more than happy to take your money.
I'm sure it is. I'm going to spend 200 of those gold pieces to get back those potions I just used. Because I like to have at least 3 potions on me for that situation.
Each of you can also get an extra recovery, like add 1 to your current recovery pools.
Oh, awesome.
Woo!
I won't
Double digits.
about that.
From medical assistance.
Woo!
Yes. Unfortunately, the clerics are gone, but, you know, you guys helped out the Dragon Empire there. The Dwarf King certainly thanks you, as do the Paladin monasteries. I did note their gratitude. And, certainly the Crusaders pleased. Red Gauntlet Company's happy that they got, like, profit and shit, and they killed demons. Lucius Chaosbane is upset that fucking pig-headed Orangthu flew away and was cowardly. Of course, attacked the side that didn't have the Red Gauntlet Company. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Not gonna attack the other side. Looking forward to continued employment from you.
Zold's
Finish
feels so
up his
wrong.
work
But
by killing all the by destroying all the Sahagin.
They don't like that as much, but it's good that you opened up with a strong thing. They'll reflect fondly on all the demons they slew, and there are demons amongst Sahagwin, so
You know, like
they're basically all sea demons anyway.
there's also that devil thing that they can do if they want to do a little bit of freelancing afterwards. if he's such a badass.
Yes, well, he's a devil, technically.
Yeah.
So-
Well, you know, technically.
Yes. So that's not
Like,
really
oh no,
in their,
those are
like,
fine.
area of
fucking studies
expertise.
with those.
Yes, if there was any roleplay or interaction that you folks wanted to do on your trip to Glitterhagen, while you're at Glitterhagen, as you're sailing to the Fangs, if there's any sort of, like, inquiries you want to make, or things you want to ask God or each other, now would be the time to do so.
Let's never fight demons again.
First time we've had significant losses to our forces.
Yeah.
Under
Let's
our
never fight
command.
demons again, says the Paladin of the Great Gold Worm.
Yes.
What?
Leave that to the
We will
Crusader.
fight whatever needs to be fought to ensure the safety of our peoples, right? I'm sure you would agree that this has been, well, I mean, I know that I would have a special relation to saving the Queen's Wood from such a thing.
No, of
You've
course.
shielded the Dwarven kingdoms from such a thing. I imagine that you would be, well,
I wasn't being serious.
very happy for such an outcome.
Equally, the Empire itself must thank you because, well, all of us, because, well, we managed to stop it getting worse down for us as well.
Indeed.
And yet we do need to stop fighting the symptoms and start fighting the cause.
What do you suggest we do?
That we find out more what's going on, that we can prevent things from happening rather than mopping up.
Well, yes. That's
have-
why we're going to the Fangs to locate Lord Sarsa.
It is a step in the right direction.
And we can destroy many of the marauding Sahagin, aiding trade in the region as well. The Midland Sea has gotten dangerous as far as I understand, though my people rarely, though my nation of peoples rarely use it, many of my kind do live outside of the woods. Though I do not look forward to fighting in the Fangs. Swamps have never been my.
Rook, since you seem to be wounded, I'll try and take some of the blows when we move in.
That could be appreciated, but I am fine. I will manage.
You say that.
Now I am. Then I was not.
You're clearly, as it stands. Same with you, Aranas. You're quite exhausted after that.
I must admit that I am. Yes, perhaps in the battles to come, I might ask to lend or to borrow some of your strength. Jasmine.
I have plenty of it to go. The Empire needs saving, and I'm not going to sleep for it.
You do seem to be quite resilient.
You need it with this kind of mess.
Now, what do we
so.
plan to do when we find this manor, if we find it?
We'll see what the situation presents ourselves with. If it's a highly fortified area, then we might, need to have a bit more provisions.
Certainly true.
We can't plan for something we do not know.
I do not know what we'll find. Only that we need to find out what's going on.
A lich prince, it would seem, would be
So.
the guess. Potentially a few more of his kind of a lower status than. I do not know much about the undead, but I would assume that even their princes hold entourages and honor guards of different sorts.
Yes, I would imagine there would be plenty of those kinds of things.
Enough to keep the Sahagin well at bay.
Yes.
So. How are people actually now? I know a dice is some sort of mark for it, but like how quickly does the news of this sort of thing happen? I mean, destroying the Frostfist was one thing, in single combat. Another, I suppose, entirely is to stop something that has never happened before in the age. This demon problem might have been the biggest thing we've dealt with yet.
All of your characters and the Red Gauntlet Company has gained quite a bit of acclaim at least in Glitterhagen, which is where you folks have arrived, news has spread from refugees who've kept fleeing, and from individuals who sent messages, like, further south. And the Red Gun Company does make its home here, and they're certainly willing to spread the news as well, of these intelligent individuals who saw the usage of the power and majesty that is the Red Gauntlet Company. You are certainly identified and recognized by many people, and not just because of the crazy equipment you wear, but because people have described your looks, sometimes in larger-than-life fashions or embellishments. But the City of Coins most certainly does recognize who the four of you are.
They have a dwarf, 6 feet tall.
With black scales and...
You managed to, trying your best, you coordinated multiple units across the entire Dragon Empire and brought them to aid and relieve, effectively, like, not just the Dragon Empire itself, but the Dwarf King. And before, like, he could muster up all of his forces, because it does take some logistics to coordinate everyone through mountains.
Yeah.
And, he's certainly fighting many things, too. And so for him to spare the forces would have been a strain on him. And for that, you folks are recognized and commended as well. You've done a great deal of good. You know, Geráck has repaired his reputation. Jasmine Rose Vayne is... Well, she's so well known and her family's so well known that even the Emperor before this would have recognized the family name. But now, most certainly, the bureaucrats do know it in Axis. Aranas Vaelduth has continued to spread the reputation that, the Queenswood still cares and is still honoring its agreements with the Dragon Empire made ever so long ago. And Aurelia, well, it's probably for the best that the peasants still don't really talk about her, because they might try to lynch her. If anything,
Dragons are not that bad. The Black Fang are helping us all the time.
The fame for her would be the worst thing because it would attract attention from people who don't think she could ever be redeemed or forgiven. The Crusaders' forces, they're perfectly fine with, perfectly fine with her, but, other, say, paladins, or folks who follow the Great Gold Worm, or the Priestess, or even the Emperor, are certainly far less, certainly far less opening. And the problem with all the fame you've gotten is that now even Aurelia is recognized. And the attitudes towards her aren't so good. They're only kept in check because of her association with all of you.
Luckily, some of us are slightly better well-known and nicer.
Yeah, she doesn't mind the stares and occasional comments she might get, although, of course, not when they think she can actually hear them. As long as things seem like they are moving towards her eventual goal of making this world a better place.
What is her eventual goal now?
I was going to say, what is it of killing Team PC? Because,
Well, initially, and I guess at this point still, it would be to at least reduce the influence of the Fray to make sure that what she thinks has been done to her son would never be able to be repeated. But now that more things are involved, it's kind of to make sure that the world remains in a state where, well, it still is kind of peaceful.
Yeah.
Her goal is not necessarily revenge, although that is a big part of the actual plan. It is to, perhaps a bit naively, try to turn the world into a place where, if she ever had another son, he could grow up in peace.
Geráck approves.
Most certainly.
Honorable goal.
Right. You're able to meet up with Lord Mulrian and Lord Ravinger just fine. The Imperial warships have actually tried to ensure the continued safety and peace of the waters here in this region. And they will be happy to cart you folks off to a mission and do something, like utilizing the warships to do something like taking the fight to the enemy. even if it is crazy aquatic monsters. As such, Ready or Eat will end up fading. As, by the time you folks trek all the way from Foothold to Glitterhagen and then get on the ships and then go to the Fangs. And the Harvest, because we've actually approached winter territory, it was alright. It was alright. But overall, probably worse than what it was last year. The demonic invasion pressing in, attacking from the northwest. The barbarians sweeping in from the south. The Frostfist bandit hordes, along with the Grinder Worm, handling things off in the east. The weather has quickly turned into becoming even colder. You're starting to see, actually it's while you're on the trip, your first sign of snowfall. Summer is gone now. The harvest has proven to be just as bad, if not a little worse than last year's, with all of the threats. So the food shortage problem is not getting better. Unless you consider the fact that more people are dead. You can solve an overpopulation problem and a food crisis by killing people. Yes, you folks are technically in winter now. And
Summer, boom, winter. Times are changing.
Well, I mean, you guys spent almost all of the campaign transitioning slowly from autumn to spring to summer, and then whenever we got to summer, we changed into this mode, and then we went through the numerous summer months. There's 3 low summer months, there's a midsummer month, there's 3 high summer months, there's autumn months. You guys blazed through the summer.
The Frostfist in the summer.
Yes, it's also a good thing that you dealt with the fucking demon shit in the summer, too, because otherwise all that shit would have been covered in ice and hell. It would have been even worse to trek around up there. Yes.
No, a swamp freezing over is actually not that bad for us.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be in the Fangs too long until the rivers freezes.
Well, I can get stuck under the ice worse than we can.
Sure, but...
Also cold-blooded, as far as I understand.
Yes, the Fangs is, by no stretch of the imagination, a terrible place to be. Few communities exist around here except on the very edges of the coastlines, in large part because of, well, when the Blessed Emperor's ritual went off ever so long ago to shunt monsters out of the sea, the monsters went into the rivers. And so all of the mean Sahagwin that didn't go into the Iron Sea were in the rivers. If the ritual still held up to this day, you could find weakling Sahagwin in the Midland Sea, and you would find the strong Sahagwin here. But with the ritual fading, you fought strong Sahagwin all over. From mutants to glow priests.
Concentration will be less here.
Yes, as a matter of fact, the concentration is now fittingly less here. The Crusaders and the Mages aren't particularly strong at fighting in this terrain, but in general, the Red Gauntlet Company is a strong unit to match their price. And the Centaurs and the Bugbears will get to work, and the 2 groups will stick together. The 2 warships will get to work as well, ensuring that the armies here remain supplied and keep in touch with them, because you can really get lost out here in the Fangs, and begin to patrol and deal with the numerous aquatic threats that have been threatening trade. Whereas you folks land on one particularly innocuous beachhead with your other allies, and I suppose begin to set out into the hell itself. The swampy, muddy, gloomy, snowy hell. Welcome to Sunsep. Winter, everyone. It has arrived. Bringing with it troubling news of harvests that have not done so well because of the continued poor weather conditions. The wards have, in some areas, stabilized, and in other areas, completely sputtered out altogether. All the Imperial forces are scrambling to deal with so many problems right now They're stretched too thin. So, welcome to Swampy Snowy Fangs. The four of you are looking for a particular locale. That of Prince Zarza's domain, which you only know, like, vaguely about, that it's in here in the Fangs and maybe towards the hills. But you four are going to have to trek your way up to those hills and somehow find this locale. It's really easy to get disoriented here and lost. And, while you can bring supplies for your expedition, you can't have it go too long. Or else you're going to have to struggle to, like, hunt and survive out here. Eat Sahagwin flesh.
I do still have a lot of rations from the underdog.
I don't think you have enough rations to feed all of you for, like, the month it might take to find this place and get back. And if you get lost, it could be 2 months.
I do not.
Right.
Besides save those, the value is only going up.
Yeah.
I have rations for 27 days.
Those will certainly be consumed while you're here.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
In which case, I would like for you folks to tell me about how this trip is going to go for the four of you. About how you're going to work together and resolve the problems that might appear. In essence, where you're going to make arguments for various skill tests that you're going to be making. And how well you folks do will determine how bad you might get lost, or how bad horrible elements in this cold and swampy terrain will affect you. You're welcome to make various arguments for things using your backgrounds and ability scores for problems you might encounter. This is a great deal of survival and tracking and locating yourselves. You're out here in the wilderness.
Well,
I can start by saying that Aranas has sort of been in disorientating places before. The Queen's Wood is very disorientating because things constantly just move by themselves to other places. It is also a sort of a forestry area or place where you really will have a hard time sort of getting an overview of things. And if you are lost in there, one of the best things to do would be to climb up into a tree and get a look down, or at least a better look at the stars to try to navigate by those. So what he'd like to do here is whenever there's whenever we sort of are in like one of these, imagine sort of the many rivers and like swampy trees with like bushes and stuff everywhere. Sometimes climb a tree or like a ruin and take a good look out over the landscape to get a sort of a what do you call that? Yeah, basically make a vantage point to see where we're going and see where things are. Try to find marks that we could follow.
Okay.
Attempts here would be to try to use my my scale hunter of the Queen's Wood with my strength modifier to climb and gain vantage points in these places.
All right, you may do that.
I will do that then. See if I can have Dwarf luck or if I'm getting rid of that curse.
We'll see.
Yes.
In before one.
Don't say it, Jim.
It's better than, it's going to be 20 for sure.
All right.
It was neither.
Who else would like to go?
I also have some ideas. For example, Jasmine has spent quite a large amount of time as the captain of the Knight Imperial Scouts, which have done a large amount of both survivalist work and tracking work throughout her time. And, well, we are here to try and track down someone's domain. People have gone hiding before in various locations. I don't know if anyone's gone hiding, probably people have gone hiding here before. I don't know how it's a dangerous area. People don't really want to follow. That's a potential thing. Also, Mir also has a scout ability available. So I don't know if you want to, that could also help out a little bit, I suppose. Though I don't know to what degree. But overall, my idea is basically for Jasmine to go around using her knowledge to, once you get into vantage points and just looking out for areas that look like there's been movement in them if possible, looking for creatures moving around, trying to orientate herself that way, and just using really her camping and survival knowledge she gained all her time in the military to, as if this were tracking criminals, she's tracking down, it seems, a lich.
Okay. So what are you trying to use here?
So I'm guessing wisdom. I'm thinking like wisdom modifier and my knight from Imperial Scouts
Sure.
background. I don't know if I can get anything for Mirv's scout ability since that has not been expended, but
We can use like a separate thing for Mirv.
sure. In which case I will just roll my skill check.
Okay.
It's a 5, a 2, and a 7. 26.
All right. And where's Mirv's section on his whole like little scouting thing? I'm fucking looking through the book here and I can't find
It's in the familiar section.
Right. Familiar section. I was like looking at like the ranger thing, like where the fuck is it?
Okay, it's ranger pet, but the ranger pet just says refer to the familiars.
Right. Once per day, your familiar can separate itself from you and make a reconnaissance run of an area or location and may even manage that feat unseen. Easy skill check for the environment to get your familiar scout unseen. Okay, you can go ahead and, I guess... Easy skill check for the familiar. Fuck it, just make the same roll that you just did.
Sure. Yeah, I did train Mirv in the military, so it makes sense, you know.
Yes. Okay. Alright, who else?
Okay. Okay, you go first.
Okay. So Geráck really has no experience with trekking through swamps, but what he will do is let the others sort of show the way, but he will use his strength to sort of clear the way out of debris and high grass and whatever is in the way, basically, to let the others trek more easily through this.
Like say if you need to ford a river, you can make a log bridge, or like try and
Yeah.
move trees and shit to
Exactly.
facilitate crossing, or build a raft or something.
That guy
Exactly.
with the machete in the jungle.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Okay.
He will clear the way for the rest of them.
All right. So what are we using here?
I will get strength, but I don't really have a background
Okay.
that applies.
Strength modifier and level.
Yeah.
All right. Sheep.
So I don't think I can really argue that Aurelia would know the area, but what I could argue is that there's probably a lot of plants in the Fangs. It's a swamp, so there's all manner of weird things, some of which might even be poisonous and very dangerous. And having some experience with making poisons, Aurelia might be able to recognize the more or less dangerous plants that we should probably avoid to make our trip a bit easier.
All right. So what are you making a case for here?
I would use my poison alchemist background with with wisdom, as I'm trying to look around and spot the dangerous vegetation, essentially.
All right.
All
Go
right,
for it.
let's do this. +7, +2, +2.
Every time.
Well
You
then.
eat a poisonous plant.
Oh no, I shouldn't have eaten that.
Okay.
Well,
Aranas, weave this together, does his best to adapt his knowledge of forestry into this particular environment by scaling up trees to get vantage points. He does have mixed success on that front. He unfamiliar with the swampy area, some of the trees. He's not too familiar with climbing. Some of them do have thorns or brambles, or could even have poisonous fungi growing on them, which Aurelia is slow to recognize. Mirv and Jasmine Rose are very capable scouts, trackers, rangers, and they are easily able to keep the four of you oriented to ensure that you don't get lost or spun around, because if you could not find the shore, and you might think, well, how could I possibly get lost and not find the shore? Just follow this river one way or another. Because there's plenty of space in between one of the things, and you can't keep following the banks. Lots of steep, muddy hills, you go slipping off into the water. You don't want to be in the water. You guys weren't born to fight in the water. Sahagwin were. Devil the Fangs was. And poor Aurelia, utilizing her poisonous knowledge as best as she could, is able to identify a few things that would be dangerous. She also might have a tendency to overcompensate and label too many things that are dangerous. So things that would have normally been edible for you, and might have spared your rations. Aurelia says, no, just in case. Don't touch it! I used that at a blade once. You don't use blades. Don't touch it! Alright. Well, you get out of the swampy territories and head into more of a hilly region, as the hills will slowly rise into low mountains, trekking out of the swamps and into more of a wooded area, although there isn't too much decoration on these hills and mountains. The snow stops on occasion and switches to hard rain, but I will say that after maybe a week and a half, perhaps two, that the storming now has become non-stop. It was happening sporadically, but as you've left the swampy area, it has become an everyday thing. Non-stop, constant downpouring. The sun is gone, obscured by thick clouds that blanket the entire sky. Rain falls, almost like a monsoon. None of you are particularly familiar with the fangs to determine whether this is, a normal feature and why everything else is so fucking muddy down there, or whether this is an abnormality. With the new terrain change, I would like for you folks to adapt to it and tell me what new ways you're going to use to try and locate the domain of Prince Zarza here in this rainy, slightly forested, slightly mountainous hell.
Well, Geráck is an experienced mountain traveler, so he will try to spot the best routes to take through these hills and mountains to basically save some time and not going up too steep hills to just waste a lot of time.
Okay. So, what are we going to be using here?
Let's see here. Probably my either Leader of the Frosting Range Companions or Heir to Dragonkin Keep and a Wisdom.
Okay, you can use Frost Range Companions. That seems fitting. This is a mountainous area.
Alright.
Alright.
Good, good.
Can we just stop at that road?